Worth the wait. So this is the Commonplace book, Commonplace binder. I'm going to put this down. I'm getting a little confused when it comes to the noise because we've got common and commonplace, FAQs. There's a lot in there. So this is the Commonplace binder 101 playlist, which is a 100 video playlist, and it's almost done because this is video number 99, which is very exciting. So worth the wait. Hopefully the intro wasn't too long, and let's get into this. Library of Memories. So this is the place where you can hold on to your memories in a non-computer space. Basically, this is the place to put all your stuff. And so this could be a planner, a notebook, a journal, a to-do list, a album, technically an album, but yeah, let's go through this. Not comprehensive. So the playlist I have should be comprehensive, but each individual video should not be comprehensive when it comes to what is a commonplace book or how to make a commonplace book, or, you know, the binder equivalent. This is a commonplace book, commonplace binder. Because there are rings, you will need to put paper into the rings rather than just having the paper there in the first place. Because there are rings, the stuff moves around, and so you can open it up, you can take stuff out, you can put stuff in, and because the stuff moves around, there are no page numbers. And because there are no page numbers, there is no index. And so I instead use a contents page. Multiple contents pages in this case. So I'm going to page this back, I'm going to set this down. If you're looking for information, you can find it on the tab. If you're going through the binder, if you're looking through the playlist, you can look at the front cover and see video number 99. That says video number 99, FAQ. So that's the main keyword we're focusing on today. Let's get back to the video. Reuse what you can. So when you make the stuff, it's good to use it multiple times if you can, rather than just using it a single time. So when I record these videos, it's very annoying to set everything up, get in the mood to actually record, and make sure that all the distractions are out of the way. So nobody's mowing their lawn, there are no people yelling, there is no train or church bells or anything else that could make noise. So I can reuse this main presentation, I can make these cards ahead of time, and hopefully I will be able to reuse these cards next year. Represents you. So the cards don't necessarily represent me, but they do represent what I think people will be interested in. What goes in the binder, this binder specifically, is the stuff in the demonstration binder. This is the binder that I use to make all of my videos and show people what a commonplace might look like if they make one on their first try. So it's not as good as the one that I actually use for all my real life stuff because, well, I don't really want to show off all my personal information when I could show people the way that somebody actually makes the thing. It seems very silly. Perception of legitimacy. So a commonplace book in the past would give legitimacy to people because it was basically the equivalent of being able to read information off your phone when in an argument. Kind of a life hack. Although it's also a little obnoxious. Executive function. So if you struggle to figure things out and then actually get the thing done, like it might be you know exactly what needs to get done, but then it's very difficult to convince yourself to do it. This sort of place might be helpful for that because you can put stuff into it and take stuff out, and I've already talked about that. But the reason why this is relevant is because if you have extra energy, you can do the energy-intensive tasks at that time, and if you have less energy, you know, the reverse. And one of the great things about this is the people who struggle with executive function normally have fluctuating energy levels. And so if you build this into your regular routine, you might be able to stabilize the energy levels a little bit. Unbroken trend. If you do it every day, now I don't do this every day. At some points in my life, I did work on this sort of thing every single day, but it can be very annoying to do something every day. And while it's very exciting to do something for the first time, it's not always very exciting to do things every single day for at least 5 years in a row. So yeah, what is your objective? Why are you doing this? Because it might be you don't necessarily know why, or it might be your why has changed. And so for me, I needed to focus on this because originally I was just focused on reducing my school notes, and then I was focused on acquiring knowledge, and then I realized I needed to share the knowledge. So I'm trying. Safeguard your future. So was looking at all the different things I could do after high school, you know, as like a 15-year-old. And I was like, okay, so technically we're being told to go to college, but if I go to college, there's no guarantee of employment, or no guarantee of employment. So if I went to college, I would probably pick whatever would be the most like guaranteed to employ me. If I went into like a trade or technical school, I would want to focus on the thing that actually allows me to think. So I probably need one of the technical jobs that is mostly about thinking rather than actually physically doing the thing. But they need someone on site to actually do the thing. And then I was also focused on all the AI stuff coming up. And so if there was the possibility of artificial intelligence taking over everything, I would somehow need to create something unique that would allow my thoughts to continue, that would allow me to get paid and also allow me to, you know, do the thinking. And if we're focused on creating machines that can do everything that humans can, I would somehow need to be the most human of the humans. It was a lot to think about. And so the thing I focused on was electrical engineering. And then I realized that wouldn't really help me out because a lot of the trades end up becoming very politicized, just like everything is getting politicized. So I could push the engineering off for a little bit, and I could probably just focus on the commonplace, because that way I would basically be creating a net, even if it's just as thick as a spider's web. It would be something for me to construct to at least have a general idea of what I was supposed to build in the future. Unfortunately, I didn't construct this when I already had money, and so it took a lot longer, and it's a, you know, very thin web. Yeah. Born from a risk. It was a huge risk to focus on this sort of thing, but I figured if no one else is building a commonplace book or a commonplace binder and sharing it with people and trying to create an education system that revolves around it in its altered form, in addition to a bunch of other education-related things that I want to talk about, as something that could modify the public system, well, hopefully diving into that would make me the number one person, and then I would be able to get paid, but, you know, we'll figure that out. Signs of change. One of the great things about going through a commonplace book or a commonplace binder, or just, you know, stuff that you've recorded in the past, is you get to experience the stuff again, and you can get rid of some stuff that isn't good, and, you know, maybe make some modifications to some good stuff. A little easier. The longer you do it, the easier it gets. So if you want to do it, just start now. Mixed signals. I feel like I am kind of giving mixed signals to people. The commonplace book is the thing that has existed for centuries, if not millennia, but I am calling this a commonplace binder, and so the reason for that is because I want to rank a little bit differently in search. I want to go for different terms. I don't want to go for the fully like academic version of a commonplace book. I don't want to, you know, muddy the waters of any history related to it. I'm building something on top of it. I'm not really talking about commonplace books. This is more about commonplace binders. So I hope there's no confusion. Fight for generations. So a lot of people in the past would pass on their commonplace books. Now, this is a little awkward, and people didn't always do this, and sometimes they would instruct people to burn it, because it's kind of like passing on a social media account to another person. So they will see all of your DMs. They will see all of your searches. They will see whatever is recommended. And so unless some people are really good friends, it's going to be very awkward to have another person go through their stuff. And so the stuff would often get passed down to the kids, or sometimes just handed off to a university as like, this is all the things I found the most interesting, and here are my notes on it. And, you know, in order for someone to find that valuable, they have to find the other person's thoughts valuable, or at least the information that they wrote stuff about. Focus on essentials. First thing you need to do is get the thing to write on and get the thing to write with. And so if you just have a pencil and a sheet of paper, congratulations, you've started. If you write something, Inequality in Resources. Yeah, so I've got stuff in the background here. If this were a set, you know, this would just be a big blank wall, except for the thing I need to focus on. It might actually be that I would just be talking, and I could have people do so many things that I'm not able to do right now, which is really frustrating. Like if I had a lighting or a camera person or an editor or a set designer, or just like there's a very long list of things I could have. which would help make these videos. And the same thing goes for if you're trying to make a commonplace book. Because if you're trying to make a really nice commonplace book, you're probably going to want to print some stuff at some point. Or at least, you know, a really nice commonplace binder will require some printing. And so when you write the stuff out, you can just type it up, have a copy of it. You can turn that copy into a digital printable to sell to other people, or you could just print it off yourself to put it back in your binder, and then you can edit it in the binder itself. And so there are little things like that that aren't that expensive. Even, you know, if it's like 10 cents a page, that does add up if you're going to print over 1,000 pages. It just does. Like, I'm sorry. Further fragmentation. Yeah, so I'm talking about commonplace binder. Most people talk about commonplace books, and yet in this sort of niche on YouTube and just the internet as a whole, there's also Zettelkasten, there are bullet journals, there's just journaling in general. There are a whole bunch of different things related to this. And so in the past, if we went back like 500 years, the people would be focused on only the commonplace because there was nothing else to work with, or only a journal. Because even if the person was an expert, there weren't a lot of other experts they could talk to, because most of the people were, you know, farming or doing something else to not die. Yeah, so it was fragmented, it's getting more fragmented, and who knows, maybe in the future people won't even watch videos on their phone, they'll watch them through their glasses, which I think is ridiculous. It's become. So, I hope this hasn't become a presentation of me just saying random things. I hope I have answered some of your frequently asked questions. The problem is there aren't really any frequently asked questions on the channel because the channel is very small, and because even though people comment sometimes, they normally just say hi or good job, but there are not a lot of questions involved. Some people have asked me about specific professions, normally STEM degrees. So one notable, you know, comment section conversation I had with someone was about medical school. And for that person, I told them it's probably better to have a digital database than a physical database, because if they have a digital database, they can more easily share things with other doctors and medical professionals. And it should be very easy for them to, you know, use the computer to actually search for things as opposed to using the binder to search for things. And so it might feel nicer to do things by hand, and it might be good for a greater consolidation of specific mental, like, knowledge and rabbit holes and all the other stuff. Like, the physical binder might be better for super deep thought, but if someone is doing a job every single day that requires fast thinking and fast answers, I think you probably need to go with the personal knowledge base, which means all the computer-related stuff, which is kind of annoying, because this is like an ancient productivity tool that isn't really effective for productivity anymore, unless you're going for, you know, like more like Da Vinci thoughts, rather than how do I solve my problem today? How? So how common are the commonplace FAQs? I don't know. I guess I could have checked other channels to see what people were asking in the other comment sections, but that feels like, you know, a little questionable. Although I think one of the main strategies on the platform is for people to just look at what the other titles are for everybody else and then make videos based on that. So maybe it would have been fine. Maybe it would have been ethical for me to check the other videos to see their comment sections. But yeah, the way that I got these FAQs is, these are not FAQs, this is just me grabbing terms from a word bank that I constructed based on things that I thought people might want to hear about for this playlist. So, if you found that interesting, maybe you can consider checking out the final video on the channel. Well, for this playlist. I will be making videos after this, don't worry. Up next is the bonus content, and that will be the final video for this playlist that I record while, you know, being visible on camera, which is crazy. I will need to go back and add the actual flip through for the flip through video, but it should still have this sort of thing in the thumbnail. So, that's that. Hope you're having a great day, and I'm very excited to record the final video. Goodbye!